bean sprouts, raw vegetables, and even some tubers. Could these foods, usually associated with a healthy diet, actually pose a risk for elderly people? As we age, our bodies change, and our diet needs to keep up with those changes. If you take care of someone in their senior years, or are entering this stage of life yourself, this video could make all the difference in preventing more serious health problems in the future. Hello everyone, how are you doing? Today we're going to talk about something very important for the health of our beloved seniors. And stay until the end, because I'll share a special bonus with healthy and tasty alternatives to replace the vegetables we're going to talk about. As we get older, our bodies go through several weekly changes. The digestive system becomes more sensitive, nutrient absorption decreases, and even our ability to fight foodborne infections can weaken considerably. Before we start our list, I want to make it clear that this information is general and every body is unique. Always consult a doctor or nutritionist before making significant changes to an elderly person's diet. What works for one person, it may not work for another. Let's start our list with raw sprouts, such as bean sprouts, alfalfa, and other sprouted vegetables. They are delicious and nutritious, but they pose a real risk for the elderly. These foods grow in warm and humid environments, which are ideal conditions for the development of bacteria such as Salmonella and E. coli. Since the immune system of the elderly can't fight these bacteria as efficiently as before, they become more susceptible to severe food poisoning. An infection that might only cause discomfort in a young adult can send an elderly person to the hospital. But don't worry. If you or your loved one enjoys sprouts, cooking them thoroughly eliminates the bacteria and makes them safe to eat. Add them to soups or stir-fries instead of eating them raw in salads. Have you ever had food poisoning? Imagine how challenging it would be for someone with a weakened immune system. Speaking of foods that are surprisingly risky, raw spinach also deserves our attention. Surprising, isn't it? Spinach is usually seen as a superfood, but for the elderly, eating it raw can be problematic. This happens because spinach contains high levels of oxalates, substances that can interfere with calcium absorption and contribute to kidney problems. In addition, raw spinach is hard to digest and can cause gastrointestinal discomfort in people with sensitive digestive systems. For elderly people who already have difficulty absorbing nutrients, this can be particularly problematic. The good news is that cooking significantly reduces the oxalate content in spinach. Quick sautéing or steaming preserves most of the nutrients, making it much easier to digest for the elderly. Did you know that even a healthy food like spinach needs special care for older adults? Now let's talk about a hidden danger in the kitchen. Raw or undercooked potatoes. Potatoes are one of the most versatile and beloved foods around the world. From mashed potatoes to French fries, from fries to baked potatoes, this tuber has found a place in almost every culinary culture. However, beneath its innocent appearance, there is a real danger that few people know about. Solanine. Solanine is a natural glycoside produced by potatoes as part of their defense system against insects, fungi, and other threats. This compound is particularly abundant in green potatoes or those with green spots, sprouted areas, or potato eyes in the skin, where concentrations are higher than in the flesh. Potatoes exposed to light for long periods or stored under improper conditions. When consumed in significant amounts, solanine can cause a condition known as solanine poisoning or potato poisoning. Symptoms include nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain and diarrhea, headaches and dizziness, fever, and in severe cases, even hallucinations and delirium. In extremely rare cases, paralysis and even death can occur. For the elderly, these symptoms can be mistaken for other medical conditions common in old age, leading to misdiagnoses and delays in proper treatment. Why are the elderly more vulnerable? As we age, various physiological changes make us particularly susceptible to the effects of solanine. The liver, the main organ responsible for detoxifying the body, becomes less efficient with age. This allows compounds like solanine to remain in the system for a longer time. In addition, many elderly people produce less stomach acid, which not only makes digestion more difficult, but also reduces the stomach's ability to neutralize certain toxic compounds. The compromised immune system in the elderly also has difficulty fighting the inflammatory effects of solanine in the gastrointestinal tract. And we can't forget that many elderly people take several medications that can interact with food toxins or mask the early symptoms of poisoning, making diagnosis more difficult. Finally, elderly people generally have fewer physiological reserves, which means their bodies have a lower capacity to recover from toxic exposures. All these factors together make raw or undercooked potatoes a significant health risk for the elderly. Continuing our list, we come to cruciferous vegetables, which belong to an impressive botanical family that includes broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale, arugula, radish, turnip, and many others. Their name comes from the pattern of the flower, which resembles a cross, from the Latin crux. These vegetables are very nutritious, but when eaten raw, they can pose significant digestive challenges for the elderly. Cruciferous vegetables are recognized for their exceptional nutritional profile, being rich in glucosinolates, compounds that have powerful anti-cancer properties. They are excellent sources of vitamin C, which is important for immunity, and vitamin K, which is essential for blood clotting and bone health. In addition, they are full of folate, which is crucial for brain function and the production of red blood cells, and they are good sources of fiber, which is vital for gut health. Because they are low in calories, they are ideal for maintaining a healthy weight without sacrificing nutrition. These benefits make cruciferous vegetables essential in a healthy diet. However, when eaten raw, they can shift from being beneficial to causing digestive problems, especially for older adults. This happens because they contain insoluble fibers, which are particularly tough and difficult for the human digestive system to break down. In addition to complex sugars, which are not digested in the small intestine and end up fermenting in the large intestine, producing gas. The sulfur compounds, which provide health benefits, also produce gas with a characteristic odor during digestion. And we can't forget about goitrogens, substances that can interfere with thyroid function if consumed in large amounts, especially in people with pre-existing thyroid conditions, which are common among the elderly. For the elderly, these factors can be particularly problematic due to age-related physiological changes, such as reduced production of digestive enzymes and slower intestinal motility. In addition, changes in the composition of gut bacteria can affect how cruciferous vegetables are processed in the intestines, and many elderly people develop increased sensitivity to intestinal distension caused by gases. Speaking of foods that can cause digestive problems, green tomatoes also deserve attention. Unripe green tomatoes contain a toxin called tomatine, similar to solanine found in potatoes. This compound can cause gastrointestinal discomfort, headaches, and in rare cases, more serious problems. Elderly people with less efficient immune and digestive systems are more susceptible to the negative effects of this toxin. Although tomatine levels decrease significantly as the tomato ripens, they remain high in green tomatoes. If you enjoy traditional dishes made with green tomatoes, like the famous fried green tomatoes, you don't need to eliminate them completely. Cooking reduces tomatine levels, making them safer to eat. However, it is advisable for elderly people to consume these dishes in moderation. Are you curious to learn more about how the same food can change so much depending on its stage of ripeness? To complete our list, we have poorly washed raw leafy vegetables. Lettuce, arugula, watercress, and other leafy greens are excellent sources of essential vitamins and minerals. However, when they are not properly washed, they can harbor bacteria, parasites, and pesticide residues. Elderly people are particularly vulnerable to infections caused by food contaminants due to their weaker immune system. Even minor contamination, which may cause mild discomfort in younger people, can lead to serious complications in older adults. To safely enjoy the benefits of these vegetables, wash them well under running water and, if possible, use a vinegar or baking soda solution for better cleaning. When eating out, choose cooked or blanched vegetables to further reduce the risks. Have you ever thought about how many hands and environments your vegetables go through before they reach your plate? Now that we know which vegetables can pose risks for the elderly, let's discuss how to adapt the diet to make it safer without sacrificing variety and flavor. A great option is to cook the vegetables until they're soft, which makes them easier to digest and eliminates possible pathogens. You can also choose purees and soups, which are delicious and easy to digest ways to consume vegetables. Fermentation is another excellent technique. Fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and kimchi are not only safe, but also offer probiotic benefits. Always remember to wash all vegetables thoroughly, using running water and, if possible, a solution of water and vinegar. And don't forget to pay attention to storage, keeping the vegetables properly in the refrigerator and eating them while they're still fresh. Eating in old age doesn't have to be restrictive or monotonous. With a few precautions, it's possible to maintain a varied, tasty, and safe diet. It's important, however, to be aware of signs that may indicate an adverse reaction to food. If an elderly person shows symptoms such as severe or persistent abdominal pain, prolonged nausea or vomiting, diarrhea, especially if it contains blood, fever, signs of dehydration or mental confusion, seek medical assistance immediately. These symptoms may indicate food poisoning or an adverse reaction that, in elderly people, can quickly develop into more serious conditions if not treated. Can you tell the difference between simple discomfort and a warning sign that requires medical attention? And now, as promised, here is the bonus: nutritious and safe alternatives to the vegetables mentioned. Don't worry, there are plenty of options. Instead of raw sprouts, try lightly cooked peas or green beans. Replace raw spinach with sautéed spinach or zucchini. Swap raw cruciferous vegetables for steamed versions or squash. Use fully ripe tomatoes instead of green tomatoes and choose well-cooked root vegetables like carrots, beets, and sweet potatoes. These alternatives ensure that seniors continue to get all the essential nutrients without the risks associated with problematic vegetables. By following these guidelines based on recommendations from geriatric nutrition experts, we can ensure that our elderly loved ones enjoy a healthy and safe diet. And you, which of these alternatives have you already included in your family's diet? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more content about healthy eating for seniors. See you in the next video.